is that past will become prologue if we don't find out exactly what happened January 6th.
And we will.
So it's not time now.
We will find out.
We must find out before moving on.
Welcome back to AllStarBuzz. Thank you for joining us, and let's begin. The moment Condoleezza Rice stepped onto The View, something felt different. The show is typically filled with interruptions, loud opinions, and heated debates. But as soon as Rice began discussing the events of January 6th, the atmosphere shifted. She did not engage in the usual partisan rhetoric. Instead, she took command of the conversation. She called the attack on the Capitol exactly what it was, a direct assault on law and order. But just as it seemed like the discussion would become another rehashing of past political battles, Rice did something unexpected. She steered the conversation towards something far more pressing: the real challenges Americans are facing today. She spoke about inflation, rising gas prices, and the struggles that everyday families are enduring, shifting the focus away from political division and onto tangible issues affecting people's lives. It became evident that Rice was not there for sensationalism or political theatrics. She was there to redirect the discussion toward what truly matters. And when she found herself in a direct exchange with Sunny Hostin, the contrast between them was impossible to ignore. Hostin's approach to debate is forceful and fast-paced. She often takes control of the conversation, interrupting when necessary to make her argument. Rice, on the other hand, carries a quiet but commanding presence, one honed through years of high-level diplomacy as a former Secretary of State. She does not need to raise her voice to assert her authority. While Hostin relies on strong opinions and sharp interjections, Rice uses measured reasoning and precision in her speech. She is accustomed to navigating difficult discussions, especially in high-stakes situations. This stark difference in debate style set the stage for a compelling and unexpected clash. Rice was not just another guest. She was there to introduce a sense of balance and perspective in an environment that thrives on chaos. And on The View, where passionate exchanges are the norm, her calm and deliberate approach stood out in stark contrast. Yet, as always, the panel remained as lively as ever, with Hostin leading the charge, ready to challenge Rice at every turn. But, as Condoleezza Rice began to speak, the usual chaos of The View failed to shake her. She entered the discussion with poise, addressing the events of January 6th with clarity and authority. Rather than engaging in the rapid-fire exchanges the show is known for, Rice redirected the conversation toward more pressing issues: inflation, rising gas prices, and the daily struggles affecting American families. This was not the usual back and forth that fuels The View. Rice was not there to argue for the sake of arguing. She took command of the discussion, making it clear that the real concerns of everyday Americans should not be overshadowed by political drama. Then came the moment that truly shifted the energy in the room, when Rice firmly but politely told Sunny Hostin, "Respectfully, let me finish." Everything seemed to pause. It was an unusual moment for the show, one where a guest did not get swept up in the interruptions, but instead calmly asserted control. Hostin, accustomed to steering discussions with sharp interjections, was visibly taken aback. She had not expected someone as composed and methodical as Rice to push back in such a measured way. As Hostin attempted to interrupt again, Rice held her ground, calmly insisting on finishing her point. This was not about silencing Hostin, but about keeping the conversation on track. With a steady and deliberate tone, Rice brought the discussion back to economic concerns, emphasizing inflation, gas prices, and the financial hardships facing families. The contrast between Rice's composure and Hostin's growing frustration was striking. The tension was palpable as the rest of the panel watched in silence. In that moment, the power dynamic shifted. Rice was not merely holding her own, she was leading the conversation. Hostin has built a reputation for making bold statements, interrupting, and guiding discussions toward her preferred narratives. But against Rice, those tactics were ineffective. After Rice calmly laid out her argument with facts and logic, Hostin found herself struggling to regain control. It was almost uncomfortable to watch as she attempted to pivot, but Rice's argument was too strong to dismiss. Hostin's usual strategy, leveraging passionate rhetoric to command attention, backfired completely. Rice remained steady and unshaken, forcing Hostin to rethink how she approached the exchange. Even the rest of the panel seemed to recognize that Rice was not just engaging in a debate, she was offering real solutions. It was a humbling moment for Hostin, exposing how often The View prioritizes controversy over meaningful discussion. Rice had grounded the conversation in reality. What happened next was something rarely seen on The View. The audience clapped. And it wasn't just polite, obligatory applause. It was spontaneous, an organic response to Rice's words. She had spoken directly to the concerns of everyday Americans: rising inflation, soaring gas prices, and the financial hardships that many families were struggling to overcome. Her words resonated, and the crowd made their appreciation known. This was not applause for political grandstanding. It was not fueled by partisan loyalty. It was a reaction to Rice's ability to cut through the noise and bring clarity to an otherwise chaotic discussion. Unlike the usual rounds of clapping that follow a dramatic confrontation or an emotional outburst, this was different. The audience responded to Rice's steady, reasoned approach, recognizing the substance behind her words. In that moment, the atmosphere in the studio changed. The usual tension and theatrical drama gave way to something more serious, more focused. It was as if the conversation had momentarily broken free from the endless cycle of political squabbling, centering instead on the issues that truly impact people's daily lives. But this exchange was about far more than just two women debating on television. It exposed a broader issue: the way media and political talk shows often veer away from the real problems that Americans face. Condoleezza Rice's intervention served as a stark reminder that discussions should be centered on pressing economic concerns, inflation, job security, and the cost of living, rather than dwelling on past political battles. This was a wake-up call. Too often, The View and similar programs become fixated on rehashing old conflicts, keeping political divides alive rather than addressing the immediate struggles of ordinary citizens. Rice refused to play that game. Instead, she redirected the spotlight onto the issues that truly matter, forcing everyone, panelists, audience members, and viewers at home, to reconsider what conversations should be prioritized. While Sunny Hostin, as usual, focused on past political incidents to drive her argument, Rice remained grounded in present realities. This wasn't just a clash of personalities, it was a clash of priorities. Condoleezza Rice stood firm in her belief that the issues affecting everyday Americans could not be drowned out by the noise of political drama. It wasn't just the audience who noticed the shift in energy. The rest of the panel seemed momentarily caught off guard. Joy Behar, typically one of the first to jump into a heated debate, fell silent. Whoopi Goldberg, often positioned as the voice of reason, did not attempt to redirect the discussion. Ana Navarro's nervous smile spoke volumes. For once, the usual chaos that The View thrives on had come to a halt. But it wasn't just about what Rice was saying. It was about how she said it. She didn't resort to raised voices or exaggerated statements. She didn't try to overpower the conversation with emotion. Instead, she methodically laid out the facts, calmly shifting the focus to inflation, rising gas prices, and financial struggles, the issues that truly demand attention. The panel, unprepared for her composed yet powerful delivery, struggled to push back. In that moment, it became undeniable. Condoleezza Rice had silenced the room, not with anger, not with theatrics, but with logic. The confrontation between Rice and Hostin wasn't just about two opposing viewpoints. It was a reflection of a larger problem with how political discussions unfold in the media. Time and time again, The View and similar talk shows prioritize conflict, sound bites, and controversy over meaningful discussions about the real challenges Americans face. Condoleezza Rice's comments highlighted this flaw in real time. Rather than dwelling on January 6th or engaging in partisan theatrics, she redirected the discussion toward immediate economic concerns, cost of living, inflation, and job security. Her approach underscored a fundamental issue. The media's tendency to fixate on past scandals often comes at the expense of addressing the struggles that impact people's daily lives. Rice's presence served as a reminder that while past events hold significance, the pressing struggles of everyday Americans must take priority. Her response was not merely a political counterpoint, it was a call for the media to redirect its focus to what truly matters. If anything, her time on The View became a lesson in shifting the narrative away from spectacle and toward substance. In the aftermath of Condoleezza Rice's commanding moment on The View, one thing became clear. This was a defining exchange, not just for her, but for Sunny Hostin as well. Rice did not merely push back against the conversation's usual tone, she fundamentally altered it. For Hostin, who often takes an aggressive approach to debate, this was a rare moment in which her tactics proved ineffective. Rice's composure and unwavering focus on real-world concerns made Hostin's interruptions and performative outrage seem out of place. This was more than a simple disagreement. It was an illustration of a broader shift in the media landscape. While The View often thrives on controversy and quick soundbites, Rice provided a stark contrast. Calm, measured, and solutions-driven, she left viewers with something far more substantial to consider. Her intervention underscored a critical issue. The media's fixation on sensationalism frequently comes at the expense of addressing the everyday realities facing the American people. In that moment, it wasn't just Sunny Hostin who faced a challenge. It was the media as a whole. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit a like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to this channel. More videos are coming out soon. See you on the next one!